Tonight I had a pretty interesting experience. I was playing chess with my youngest daughter. She's 5.5 years old. Amazing that she even wants to play chess. So we get out the pieces and we start playing. And I'm teaching her the different moves, the king, what he's about, if he gets it to check, and how if he's checkmated, the game's over. Talking about the queen and the bishops and the rooks and all that. And after a few minutes, my daughter says to me, "What about the queen, Daddy? What happens if she gets attacked, if she gets taken?" And I said, "That's okay, because the whole point of the game is to protect the king. So all the pieces are there to protect the king, and what happens to them if they get taken, it doesn't matter." And she didn't like that answer, and she seemed to start to get a little bit upset. So I said to her, this game was made probably about 1,000 years ago. And back then, people didn't think that girls were as important as boys. And when I said this, my daughter started to cry. She got really, really upset. And I thought about it for a second, and it shocked me. I said, wow, chess has been around, again, probably for 1,000 years. And I never thought twice about the fact that the whole goal was to protect the king at all costs. And all the other pieces were there for the sole purpose of keeping the king alive. And she said to me, why is the king important and not the queen? And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is crazy. I wonder how, she's a young woman. She's not even near to being grown up yet, but I wonder how my wife thinks about these things. And I wonder how women think about these things. And it just blew me away. I didn't realize that there were other people out there that would have a totally different perception of the same events that I had. I know that's foolish to say that, but it's actually a good lesson. I have to tie everything back to marketing, if not interpersonal relationships. But if you think about it in the marketing sense, are you really understanding what your customer is thinking? They may be thinking something radically different from what you're thinking, and to you it looks like, oh, the situation's black and white, but what they're thinking is completely different. They just have a totally different point of view on things. So I wanted to share this story because I thought it was just really important, and it really set me back. So I hope that you find this concept useful, and in everything you do, look at the other person's perspective and just try to imagine what they're thinking, because it may surprise you, and you may avoid stepping into a problem like I did and creating a situation where I had to explain to my daughter. There really was no explanation. There was no defense for it. And, it was kind of funny. Later on that night, I spoke to my wife, and I told her, what can I do? And we came up with the idea of, what if you change chess, instead of being the king and the queen, you change it to the president and the vice president, because the president can be man and woman, vice president can be man and woman, and the whole goal of all the pieces is to support the president. Yes, they can still give their lives for him and be taken and all that, but at least it's not a man being important and a woman not being important. And I know some people may say, oh, come on, man, this is ridiculous, and women shouldn't get upset about it, but this is coming from a 5-year-old child. This is not coming from some 40-year-old hardcore feminist. And since it came from her, it came from a pure heart. It came from a place that hasn't yet been affected by society and all these things. And it came from a place where, as a female and as a woman to be, this really upset her. And I agree. I understand where she's coming from. It makes total sense. So, some food for thought. And I hope you've enjoyed these thoughts in this audio. Take care.